Welcome back to the Partyline Talk Show. It's Java with you, along with Carrie Goldberg and Allison Grana from the Family Resource Center in Pierrefonds.
You got my last name perfect.
Well, thank you. It's really not tough to say. I just wrote it the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
I spelled it G-R-A-Y-N-A.
Why?
That's why I was saying, why not?
Okay. Ooh.
P-A-R-T-Y? Because I gotta. And we're talking to these two young ladies from the Family Resource Center in Pierrefonds. They gave us a brief overview of what they're doing. And once again, maybe you can just quickly tell us what you're all about.
Okay. What we're doing right now is we're promoting two specific programs. One of them is a social skills program because we believe, look, we're all very busy. We sometimes don't have the time to do what we think we need to do. There's a lot of kids out there that are on the fringe who need just a little support and little help. And our social skills program is really an interactive program. It's 14 weeks long, and it's a program that's being done by using drama and art and music and play because we want the kids to retain the information. You can't remember it if it's boring, okay? And the skills that we're really wanting to teach these kids are things like self-esteem. How do I make myself feel good? Okay, how do I work in a team? How do I develop a friendship? And then again, how do I maintain it? Because developing it is the easy part. It's maintaining it. How do I listen and follow directions? Because a lot of our kids really don't know how to listen. How do I make a decision properly? Because if I don't make my decisions properly, I'm in trouble. I have to be forced to live with the consequences.
Yeah, but what about making a mistake? And you're saying you make some bad decisions. I think everybody makes a bad decision. And doesn't a bad decision give you some knowledge of not to do that again?
Absolutely. It gives the experience. It gives you the knowledge. It also gives you the understanding that you have to look for a different solution. But the other thing is, how do I advocate for myself? How do I stick up for myself? Who do I find as partners to stick up for me?
Also accepting others' opinions, right?
Absolutely, and apologizing. How do I apologize? How do I understand that Allison and I are looking at the same thing but in two different perspectives? Neither of us are wrong. We're both right. How do we deal with that?
And we learn from each other?
Absolutely. And how do I work in a team? Because honestly, today we work in teams. We no longer work individually. And the other program is done the same way, but the focus is more on academic. So how do I study? How do I do my homework? How do I take a test properly? How do I do an oral presentation? How do I do a project? You know, we're always doing projects and none of the kids know how to do it. Why? Because in grade 2 we were taught what's on a cover page, what's on an introduction, what's on a conclusion, and nobody keeps telling us that. So by grade 3, we don't even know how to do it.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? I'm sure you've watched the show. Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
That's pretty scary.
You know, and half the stuff on there, most of the adults are like, I don't know. That's because it's not beaten into your head, right?
Not only that,
and I don't literally mean like somebody beating you in the head. I just mean it's not drilled in there.
What we're being taught, I believe, is important. We need to know history, because if you don't know the past, we don't know the future. We need certain amounts of math, but calculus for most of us is useless. I don't need physics, I don't need chemistry, I need biology, I need English, I need French, but what we also need is the development of skills that will take us to becoming the people that we want to be.
So is that where I'm not sure if you give a test, but do you give like an aptitude test or something to find what is the biggest interest? Now let's say you find one of the people who are attending the Family Resource Center and one of the programs and saying I want to be a carpenter when I get out of school, but I hate math, but you know, you're going to need math if you want to be a carpenter, because when you have there's math problems.
Okay, you want to be a carpenter. Let's figure out if it's possible for you. Okay. Do you have the talent? I can't be a carpenter. Give me a hammer and I know what I want to do with it, and it's not that.
It's not hammering a nail.
No. Okay.
Okay.
But the bottom line is if this kid is talented to be the carpenter and that's the only issue, that's holding him back, well, guess what? We teach him. We spoon feed him. Because all he needs to really understand is the dimensions, is the understanding of what types of math he needs in order to do his carpentry work. Okay? The bottom line is we don't work alone. So there are things that I'm really good at. There are things that Allison's really good at. So, Allie, I will do A, B, C on the project. You come in and do D and E. We'll finish it up with F and G. Same thing with the carpenter. I will do the carpentry. You do the dimensions for me.
Okay.
And that comes into teamwork. Right?
Absolutely.
That's one of the courses that we're teaching is teamwork.
Good.
Absolutely.
We're speaking with Carrie Goldberg and Allison Grana of the Family Resource Center in Pierrefonds. You can call them 514-685-5912.
And our website is www.familyresourcecenter.qc.ca, and a lot of it was done by some of the kids.
There you go. You're speaking about academic and social skills. Now, they're two different programs. And I want to get back to the social skills. Mm-hmm. Do you find today, with all the social networking, a la Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, do you find that it's harder to get kids to interact with one another?
Absolutely.
At a face-to-face level than it is for them to interact with a computer screen?
Absolutely. First of all, on a computer screen, they're in charge. They can write anything they want, and there's no consequences. Mm-hmm. Okay. In life, the only time the kids really have time to interact is at school. Well, let's be honest. At school, they come in, they have 15 minutes, they go into class. Then there's very little interaction. Then they have 15 minutes at recess. Little interaction after that. Then there's lunch, which is an hour.
You know,
that's 2 hours of a day of interacting, and it's, Java's my friend. Okay, I'll go right to Java, talk to him for the...
And as soon as they go home, they go on their computers. I have younger brothers and friends, students, they have cell phones, and you know what they do? Text message.
Yes.
Forget it. You don't have to pick up the phone and dial. You just text message. Everybody's text message. I text message my director.
Yeah.
If I need
All the
something,
time.
she answers quicker through
By
a text
text.
message
Yeah.
than on a phone call.
Well, see, but
We stop talking to each other.
yes,
Right.
that's the problem. There's no more social skills on a face-to-face level
But-
anymore. How do you get them away from that? Because I'm guilty of it. Allison just admitted she's guilty
I'm
of it.
guilty.
I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Because if I have, instead of talking to someone, I'll text and say, hey, what are you up to? When it could easily just say, hey, what are you doing?
Okay, first of all, I don't own a computer at home at all. I do not get on Facebook, but that's my choice, and I'm in the minority. The problem is I have a problem with this, but the bottom line is it's not going to change. Technology is going to get worse. Social networking is going to get more fervent. Mm-hmm. The problem is that when you get into the job situation, that's when you need the skills even more.
Right.
Because now I have to talk to a boss. If I tell my boss to F off, he's going to fire me. If I tell that to my friend, or I tell it on a computer, no big deal.
Maybe just to play devil's advocate,
Go
but
for
a lot of businesses today rely on social networks such as Facebook and computers. If not all of the businesses
But you
are
still
online.
have to have the social contact. Hey, I'm going to make the deal with you. Let's put the parameters together. Okay, then we'll follow
You
it
want to hear
up
something
on the
funny?
computer.
If I want to reach someone, I don't email them. I pick up the phone and I call them.
You
And
call
I
them
find
or
it
you text
quicker.
them?
No. Okay, going back to text, yes. If I'm speaking to a friend or a family member, but if I have to speak, like I'm talking about work-wise, and I have to call a contact, I actually pick up the phone and call them because you're writing them an email or they don't get back to you.
Yeah.
So I just pick up and I